What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the Finger WAG podcast. My name is Gideon Hertz. I'm the host of the Finger WAG podcast. A little bit different background for you here, and it is early north of the border because we are officially in Canada here for the GLOBL Jam tournament starting later today, and really excited that the Finger WAG will be at GLOBL Jam covering, officially credentialed to cover the tournament. So I am going to be quick here with a preview pod because we're going to be back throughout the week giving you content both live from the GLOBL Jam tournament. We'll be live tweeting, giving you all of the updates, as well as post-game analysis pods, all of that stuff. Hopefully talk to coaches, maybe even talk to some players. We'll see. Who knows? The sky's the limit, and this is a first for all of us. Finger WAG and Georgetown alike. Can't remember last time Georgetown has played in Canada, if ever. But we are here for the GLOBL Jam. Had a little bit of technical difficulties last night, so coming to you this morning. A little worse for the wear, but all good. And excited to bring you Georgetown Hoya content and some real basketball to react to. In a second, I've got Jake Foote with a few of his keys that he's looking for, the things that he's most interested in seeing. Got a story up on the website, thefingerwag.com, giving you 5 biggest questions for the Hoyas going into the GLOBL Jam. A couple of those we may not have answers to because we found out that at least 3 and hopefully only 3 regular Hoyas will not be playing in the Finger WAG tournament. KJ Lewis won't be playing as we expected. He's recovering from his wrist injury, getting back into action. We didn't really expect him to play. Kayvon Mulready also will be sitting out. We had heard a little bit about an injury there, so not surprised. The real surprise is Langston Love. Apparently had an injury a week or two ago and an ankle injury, I believe. Not sure exactly what the deal is, but he will be sitting out, and that's probably the most surprising and the biggest bummer, just because we haven't seen Langston Love, and he is going to be a pretty big piece of this upcoming season. We don't know who the starting 5 is, but presumably that takes it 2 guys who we would project to be in the starting 5, Langston Love and KJ Lewis, out of the rotation for the tournament. Hopefully Langston Love's just kind of a maintenance thing, nothing super serious. He has had injuries in the past, so not surprised that the staff would sort of shut him down and not risk any further injury here. But he brings a lot of the shooting, or the theoretical shooting, on this lineup on this team. So we're going to have to wait a little bit to get answers to that key question, which is who's going to shoot. We will see Malik Mack, hopefully, and his step, as we talked about on the last roster preview pod with Jake, as we talk about in the 5 big questions article that's up on the site. The step that he's going to take and his shooting, can he shoot it more consistently, is going to be a big question. So hopefully we'll get to see a little bit of that. I'm also really excited to see what the big rotation looks like. Before the trip, Coach Cooley mentioned Vince Iwuchukwu as being a leader on this team, and it seems to kind of jive with what we've expected, that Vince is likely the leader in the clubhouse for that starting 5. We'll see. We know Julius is skilled, and I'm excited to get a chance to see both of them up close and in person against some live opponents. I'm also excited to get a sense of what Coach Cooley is thinking he has in his team. Got a lot of new pieces, as we've talked about. Be interested to see what his sort of feel for the team is, how he what buttons he's pushing offensively and defensively. Is he trying things? They're, I think, obviously going to try and win first and foremost, but I think this is a trip to figure out what you have, and complicated a little bit by the fact that there are a couple of guys missing. But I think you can look and see some of the guys. This is not a team full of guys who we have seen a ton of before. So there's a lot to learn from this tournament, and I think for the coaches as well, a lot to glean from how guys play, who steps up. I'm excited to see guys like Deshaun Harris-Smith, Jake. If you listen to the roster preview pod, he's really high on the upside for Deshaun Harris-Smith. He got me excited. I think he is going to get a lot of time with all of the guards who are out. We'll also see a lot of Jeremiah Williams, the older guard, but a guy who is a proven player and I think can really help this team. Malik Mack, as I mentioned. We'll see a good bit of Caleb Williams as well and really look at his shooting, see if he's improved there. And then that big rotation, you've obviously got Vince and Julius, but we were intrigued to see guys like Jaden Fort and Seal Juf, who we haven't gotten a chance to look at before. So a lot of questions, not all of them will be answered before we're leaving Canada, but we should have some better a better idea of what this team looks like and where they are in the process. Some big news for you all in terms of the ability to watch the games. I think it's been reported now officially that at least one of the Georgetown games will be broadcast in the United States via ESPN Plus. So if you don't have ESPN Plus, figure that out. You got to get that. But that's great news. And that game will be the game against Canada, which is tomorrow. That's Thursday at 6 p.m. Eastern time. We will have coverage for that. We'll have live coverage on Twitter, as well as coverage from the arena and all of that good stuff. But it's great that at least that game will be shown in the U.S. Hopefully I don't jinx it by saying that. And then if the Hoyas make the championship game, or quote unquote championship game of this tournament, I believe that will also be broadcast via ESPN Plus. So stay tuned for that. That game will be on Sunday, I believe, at 8 p.m. But check local listings for that and sign up for ESPN Plus. It's not a plug for ESPN Plus, it's a plug for you all to be able to watch Georgetown basketball in August. We're really excited to get a look at this team and give you all some inside information and insight into the team itself and what the vibe is in the arena, be it the old Maple Leaf Gardens for folks who that is relevant to. I'm excited. First time I've been there. And looking forward to seeing Georgetown, who will start their tournament today. That's Wednesday, with Georgetown playing Japan. Be honest, I don't know a lot about the Japanese team and don't know a lot about the Georgetown team either, but 11:30 a.m. Eastern, so just in time for everybody's lunch break on the East Coast. You'll have coverage from us on Twitter across the networks and platforms before you should be able to see the game on Thursday when they play Canada at 6 p.m. and then day off before they finish out the regular slate of games scheduled with a matchup against the Brazil team. That'll be at 2 p.m. on Saturday, and then Sunday they make the gold medal game. That'll be at 8 p.m. and hopefully broadcast on ESPN Plus. Let us know if you've got specific questions, things that you're interested in. Send us a tweet or get at us on X, or send me an email at editor@thefingerwag.com. So if you have questions, you have thoughts, let me know. And without further ado, that was a lot of ado, but without further ado, let's get Jake Foot's thoughts on the GLOBL Jam tournament and what he's looking for next.
I want to just get your thoughts ahead of GLOBL Jam next week. What are some things that you would be looking for or most excited to see from real Georgetown basketball?
Excited to see maybe the current pecking order of what the front court looks like.
Yeah.
Probably more than anything. I'm assuming they're not totally playing to win these games, and it's more so let's give all these kids a run out, try to get them some sea legs, especially the new guys. But I will be interesting to see if it's, Caleb and Vince like we all predict, or if there's some other kid that's had a monster summer that is very much in the plans of the coaching staff. In addition to that, we know KJ Lewis has been dealing with a wrist thing. He's in a cast. I doubt he plays in this. There's going to be a chance for some of these other guys, Jeremiah Williams, Deshaun Harris-Smith, Langston Love, to probably be a little more focally involved offensively. Again, just looking to see if any of those type of guys really accepts that challenge and maybe shows something that they didn't show at their previous stop. Again, it's not going to be something to take a ton of conclusions from, other than maybe the staff's opinion on the players to begin with. But it'll be exciting.
Yeah, and we will take conclusions from it, I imagine, nonetheless.
I'm sure we will.
You make a good point, though. I mean, I don't expect KJ to play. I will be shocked if he does. Again, we'll be on site and we'll have updates as we get them. Obviously that's not great in terms of your ultimate team chemistry and what your starting five is going to look like at the beginning of the year. But for guys like Deshaun Harris-Smith, like Langston Love, some of these other guys, it's going to give them more of a runway, I think, where, obviously KJ is the most proven high major player on this roster right now. So he's the one that I think we need to see the least from as an individual. So some opportunity for some other guys that could get some run and really see if some of the things that we've mentioned here, is Deshaun Harris-Smith going to be a guy? What does Langston Love look like with Malik Mack? All of those things we'll get a look at.
Yeah, I agree with all that. I think they may, you want the group playing together, but it's not the end of the world if KJ Lewis isn't playing. And if KJ Lewis was playing and was kicking ass, there'd be no conclusion to draw from that. He's a guy that if he plays lesser talent, he should kick ass. But it'll be interesting to see the other guys, like we said.
And my guess is Coach Cooley may be coming into it with the plan of, seeing guys not necessarily playing to win games. I think by the end of it, he wants to win games. And this team, I expect a little competitive energy.
I expect it to be competitive because these spots are up for grabs.
Yeah.
There's 3 guys competing to play the 4. There's guys competing for those backcourt depth roles. There's guys competing for who's going to be the guy at center. I don't think they might have put together a roster, like we said, that is a little short of expectations, but they certainly didn't put together a roster that can afford to be complacent.
Well, we will have more as we get into the GLOBL Jam. But that is it for our roster preview. We'll be back next week with coverage of real Hoya basketball and some reactions, and hopefully won't just be the Finger WAG sending Twitter updates, although we will be doing that. Hopefully we'll get some of these games on TV down here, or at least some highlights.